An e-mountain bike is one of the best purchases that you will ever make in your life in so many ways. But as with anything, there's some highs and lows of owning one. Here's a few of them. Your e-bike is capable of taking you pretty much anywhere on Earth. Those climbs and mountains that you've always dreamt of exploring on two wheels all become a reality. Your e-bike is really the key to the door for those amazing outdoor adventures. But that fear of running out of battery on those bigger rides will always be there. Range anxiety is one of the worst feelings you're going to get out on those longer rides, especially when you're miles from home. Learning battery management skills and working out how far you can travel on a single charge on your e-bike is definitely going to make the difference when it comes to those longer rides and keep you away from that dreaded flat battery feeling. Yes, it's true, you're going to cover miles and miles of amazing riding and great single track and views that you've never experienced before. You're probably in fact going to do double the mileage that you would do on a standard mountain bike. But sadly, double the amount of mileage on components that are pretty similar to a standard mountain bike can mean double the amount of wear, especially when you add a 90 Nm 250 watt motor to the mix. Now your tyres, your brakes and your drivetrain is going to wear pretty quickly on your e-mountain bike. But are you that bothered when you're having twice the amount of fun? You're now riding a top-of-the-range bicycle at the pinnacle of technology. It's powering you along at high speed whilst connected to your smartphone via an app. Within the app, you can adjust the power of your bike and see its health too. Pretty crazy stuff, eh? Add to that motors that should last the lifetime of the bike that don't need servicing and batteries that last hundreds of charges. It's all great as long as it works all of the time. Now the motors, the battery and the software on your bike, it's all pretty amazing how it works. But if you suffer a breakdown due to one of these failing on the side of the trail, it can't be fixed with the multi-tool that you've got in your backpack. But luckily, this doesn't happen very often. Yes, you will be riding more often at every given chance, in fact, with a huge smile on your face. But if you ride in a group with standard mountain bikes, you might find things a little bit different, at least for a few times. Chances are, unless you have other e-bikers in your group, you'll be waiting at the top of the climbs by yourself. Or you may find you become the local uplift service for those who struggle on their regular mountain bikes. But don't worry, once they've all borrowed your e-bike for a lap, they'll all be converted soon. Now we know you're going to be riding tons more trails and visiting loads of new places to go riding too. But if visiting those new places means hopping on a plane or even transporting your bike with your car, then things are going to get a little bit more complicated. If you own a van, it's all pretty simple. You can just stick your e-bike in the back of the van and off you go. But if you drive a car, particularly a smaller car, it's going to involve lifting that bike into the back of the car. Now this can become quite a bit of a struggle due to the weight. You're probably going to have to take off the front wheels, probably the back wheels to fit it in. Therefore, the best option is going to be a tow bar mounted e-bike rated rear rack. This is definitely going to cope with the weight of those bikes. So just make sure that rack is going to be compatible with the profile of the tubing on your e-bike. And if you're thinking about using a roof rack, just make sure that that is e-bike certified, because a lot of the roof bar mounted racks won't actually be able to cope with the weight of the e-bike. You definitely don't want that falling off the roof. And finally, when flying with your e-mountain bike, no airline will allow you to fly with a full-size battery mounted in your bike. The best bet is to leave the battery at home and either rent one at your location or maybe even rent a hire bike. Your e-bike will pretty much do any cycling discipline as well or better than the regular mountain bike designed solely for that purpose. It'll be faster than a cross-country bike and as capable as a downhill bike, meaning you have more space at home in your workshop and less maintenance with one bike rather than a whole fleet of bikes for every single discipline. But this, however, is reflected in the initial cost of your purchase. Your e-bike can cost you thousands of pounds and is a big investment, but so too are regular high-end mountain bikes. But with an e-mountain bike, you get so much more: a battery, motor, display, and an operating system. So it's not as bad as it initially seems, especially once you've sold all your now redundant mountain bikes. You can get up to speed very quickly on the trails using boost mode, and will make riding technical off-road trails really fun. But riding your e-bike in the wrong places, where you can exceed your speed limiter easily, might take away some of that enjoyment. Your e-bike is limited by law to a certain speed to meet guidelines. Now this differs all over the world. Here in the UK and Europe it's 25 km per hour and 32 km per hour in North America. If you're riding your e-bike on flat tarmac roads, it's going to become a bit boring due to the limiter kicking in and your motor disengaging. But you didn't buy that bike to ride on flat tarmac, did you? Get it off-road and into the mud and the hills for the ride of your life. Taking a second battery out for those bigger rides is really going to make a difference. It's going to double your range, and it's also going to really allow you to exploit that full power of your e-bike, rather than just taking it easy in the eco and hoping for the best. But someone forgot to mention that carrying 3 kilos of extra weight in your backpack isn't going to be that much fun, especially if you're out for a big ride and you've got a full water bladder in there, you've got all your spares and your food. It's the equivalent to carrying a small child around the woods. However, things will become a bit more bearable with a proper e-mountain bike riding backpack. These backpacks have a padded battery compartment, they have a back protector built into them, so not only are they more comfortable, they're going to be a bit more safer too. Personally, I think the highs of owning an e-bike massively outweigh the lows of owning one, and I can't wait to get out every single day on my e-bike. But let us know if we left anything out in the comments box down below. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe to us here on EMBN, and give us a find and a follow on social media.